A sunny day here in Charlotte. Carolina blue dotting the sky above as the Redskins and the Panthers are ready to kick off. Carolina won the toss. They want the football first as Graham Gano gets ready to boot it, one of the strong leg kickers. And back to return, Kealoha Polaris, a rookie from Hawaii. Nearly 3 times the number of touchbacks this year, with kickoffs coming from the 35, as rookie head coach Ron Rivera, former assistant in San Diego, former player with the Chicago Bears, hopes to get his Panthers in the win column. They've been in every game this year.
Well, they got to play better defense, and there's Mike Shanahan, who's got his new quarterback out there today going against that defense. They are fun to watch, though, Carolina, Chris, offensively with Cam Newton. Explosive offense.
And we're underway in Charlotte. Panthers, Redskins, and it's another touchback. Cam Newton in the offense starting from the 20-yard line. No one in NFL history has thrown for more yards in his first 6 NFL games than that man, Cam Newton.
Well, you got to wonder when all those big numbers and all that big production starts to translate into wins. And, you know, I know they've led in the fourth quarter of the last 3 games. It's amazing when you watch him because it's not all legs in terms of him running and making plays with his legs. He will stand tall in the pocket and distribute the football with accuracy.
D'Angelo Williams, the running back. Williams has it. London Fletcher making the stop, and we'll see a lot of D'Angelo Williams. We'll also see Jonathan Stewart, part of a 2 tight end offense.
Yeah, and Stevie Smith obviously still playing great. He is a high flyer. Half of the targets will go to those tight ends. And then they've been very impressed with Byron Bell. Jeffrey Otah is on injured reserve. The right tackle, the rookie Byron Bell, has stepped in and has really played well for Carolina up front.
Steve Smith splits out on the left on 2nd down 9. In motion is Legadou Nene. Cam Newton for Smith, a little high and incomplete. It'll be 3rd down. Let's check the Redskins defense, and 17 sacks, tied for 3rd most in the NFL. That 3-man front led by Barry Cofield.
Absolutely, and everybody talks about those outside backers in Arakpo and Ryan Kerrigan, but it's this group right here who I think are playing outstanding. When you watch the tape, London Fletcher is still doing it. Rocky McIntosh, Chris, may be certainly having his best season in this 3-4 defense.
Shimago Atagwe out with a knee injury, so Reed Dowdy is the safety starting with LaRon Landry on 3rd down. Cam Newton backing up. Cam Newton! First down, and he's still loose. A 25-yard run on 3rd down.
That guy is incredible. He's listed at 6'5", 248. He's more like 6'6", about 255. And watch him in this escapability right here. Here comes some pressure off the edge with Kevin Barnes. Bowen up inside. There's one missed tackle or broken tackle. Here's another one right here by Cam Newton. There's another one. Now he's off to the races. It's pretty easy to see why Cam Newton led the Southeastern Conference last year in rushing. Big time runner.
Held the ball for 14 seconds. Wow. And now he wants a timeout. Catches breath maybe. He came in with 210 yards rushing and nearly a 5-yard average. Cam Newton has the Panthers on the move. We're back. It was a delay of game against the Panthers, not a timeout, so they're backed up 5 yards. And Legadou Nene on the throw from Cam Newton picks up about 7 yards, where it will be 2nd down. So it was not a timeout. Cam Newton attempted to call time, but the play clock had run out.
Yeah, and it was the back judge on the back end of the defense who threw the flag simultaneous with Cam Newton trying to signal for the timeout. You know, their passing game has been so impressive when you watch Cam Newton distribute the ball and spread it around. I would think, though, when you look at this Redskin defense, and they gave up 192 yards rushing last week to Philadelphia, you're going to see Carolina put an emphasis on the run game today.
Second down 8. From the pocket, completes Jerome Felton. First down inside the 35 of Washington. All the weapons you have out there, and he goes to the fullback.
And they got Arakpo out there in coverage. The great pass rushers typically don't like to be out in coverage. They have to do that in this 3-4 defense, 3 down linemen, 4 backers. So Arakpo's got to drop into coverage, and he was nowhere near Jerome Felton on that play.
17-yard pass completion from the 35. That's D'Angelo Williams splitting out to the left. Complete. Jeremy Shockey, the longtime Saint and former Giant, has now caught a pass in 128 consecutive regular season games. In fact, every game he's played in, he's caught a pass.
I'll tell you what's interesting about Shockey, and he's still a very good route runner and can run after the catch. I was surprised in looking at the numbers that he hasn't gotten in the end zone yet this year. And Cam Newton will certainly target those tight ends, he and Greg Olsen, for most of this game.
Olsen checks out on second down 1. Give inside to Felton. Fighting for the first down. Looked like maybe the ball came out. Let's see if he was ruled down or not. The officials are pointing to the ground. Ron Rivera says we got the first down. And here's a little bit of a hurry up by Cam Newton. A no huddle. And we're going to have a challenge, it looks like, coming from the Redskins side of the field on the previous play. It was a second down 1 run by Jerome Felton. Jerome Boger, our referee today, with Mike Shanahan and the veteran London Fletcher. Well, if you're reading
Mike
lips,
is hot over there now. He is agitated.
He's not agreeing with the call or the challenge that may be refuted. That was a double.
The ruling on the field was forward progress was stopped by the runner. That ruling cannot be challenged. We're going to replay first down.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 Carolina. Let's take a look at the play, Tim, because the Redskins felt like they stopped him before he got through for the first down.
Well, he's definitely past the first down stick right there.
And it looks like the ball does not come out till after he's down.
Well, and you definitely, once they've deemed him forward progress has stopped and those whistles blow, you cannot challenge it. So
no penalty on that.
Look at this little wildcat.
And D'Angelo Williams takes it and tries to turn the corner out at the 20-yard line. It's funny, the Redskins said they were worried about the option with Cam Newton. And they get D'Angelo getting the snap.
Yeah, Rob Chudzinski, the offensive coordinator, is going to pull out all stops with this offense. And we're going to see some triple option today with Cam Newton. We're going to see some read option where he's kind of reading that defensive end and either handing it off or turning the edge. And we've already seen there the wildcat with D'Angelo Williams getting the snap. Remember about 4 years ago here in Carolina when they had all the issues at quarterback? They lined him up in the wildcat for a couple of games and won a couple of games with D'Angelo Williams out of that set.
And Jonathan Stewart gets the carry down to the 5.5-yard line. They had Stewart and Williams both in on that play.
Yeah, this is a little pistol offense and another wrinkle offensively in terms of the formation. LaRon Landry's going to get upfield. And you're going to see Rob Jackson. He got blocked down. There's a huge hole there for Jonathan Stewart.
A 14-yard pickup. They mark it at the 6. 1st and goal. The opening drive continues. 10th play of the drive for the Panthers.
Great play call there. Caught Rob Jackson in a stunt inside. That was a huge hole.
Cam Newton keeps and is stopped short of the goal line. It'll be 2nd and goal, Panthers.
It's not the first time they've ran that little quarterback draw down here on the goal line. He's got 6 touchdowns.
The rookie record is 7 by a quarterback, Vince Young. Only Michael Turner has run more from inside the 5-yard line so far this season than Cam Newton. Jonathan Stewart the back, 3 receivers on the right. And we have a penalty.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's on Greg Olsen, the tight end, who is split out to the right.
There's Greg there.
So
coaches hate penalties down near the goal line. They really hate them.
Second down 7. 3 receivers out to the right. Nene, LaFell, and Steve Smith. Stewart the back. And Cam Newton kept it. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Yeah, he just stumbled. That was that little read zone play that I was talking about. He's going to stick the ball into the belly of the running back. He's going to read the defensive end. If the DN crashes down, he's going to keep it and run. LaRon Landry was in there waiting for him. Looks like he just looked like the field tripped him up.
And the field is an excellent
condition. He slipped. You see his right, it's in great condition, but he tried to plant that right foot and cut inside of LaRon Landry and went down.
3rd and goal. What will we see from the Redskin defense? Cam Newton with time. He's running. He's leaping. He is stopped short of the goal line. D'Angelo Hall and London Fletcher were over there to keep that 6'6" frame out of the end zone.
That dude is tenacious. Both of them, Cam Newton and London Fletcher. Cam's got Brandon LaFell out to his right. He's going to look left. Now he looks right. He doesn't pull the trigger. And now watch him lay out from about the 4-yard line. And London Fletcher lays out himself and lights him up out of bounds.
Olindo Mare on to try a 20-yard field goal. He's 9 of 11 so far this year. And the kick goes through. The opening drive led by Cam Newton on the ground. Ends on the field goal, and the Panthers lead 3-0.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Along with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and the Redskin defense. Second best in the NFL on 3rd down with a big stop there. Even though it was a 7.5-minute drive, Cam and the Panthers kept out of the end zone.
Well, Cam is such a dynamic player. He's going to wear down a defense because he's a triple threat. But once again, red zone defense outstanding as it's been all year for the Redskins.
Olindo Mare keeps the touchback thing in vogue as Brandon Banks watches it go into the end zone. 30-year-old John Beck has waited for a long time for this.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Redskins take over on offense. Rex Grossman has been their starting quarterback, but John Beck becomes the 21st different starting quarterback for the Redskins in the last 19 years. 2nd-round draft pick originally of the Dolphins out of Brigham Young, his 5th NFL start.
And he was fun to talk to yesterday. He's very excited for this opportunity, and like I said in the open, he looked sharp and had some drops in that 4th quarter in relief last week.
Quick pass is complete. Santana Moss right at the 20-yard line. The Redskins play today with 3 injured starters on that offensive line. Eric Cook, the center at 6'6", who on the scout team was snapping the ball to John Beck the last year.
I'll tell you what, though, they're happy to get Anthony Armstrong back in terms of their wide receivers. He can really take the cap off of defense with his vertical speed. And there's Eric Cook, the center, and Sean Locklear, the longtime Seattle Seahawk, is in there for Trent Williams.
Tim Hightower back after missing a game with a shoulder injury. And he gets the carry on 2nd and 9. Hightower near a first down. check this Carolina defense, which has some rookies up front. Charles Johnson, 13 sacks in his last 13 games, the $70 million man.
Yeah, and he's a very good player. They're strong on the ends, young in the middle. They have been hammered in the run game. And then the linebackers, they've lost 2 of their top 3 linebackers. Here's where they play good, though. Nobody's really talking about the Carolina secondary. Chris Gamble has rebounded. He's playing well. Those 2 safeties are dynamic in terms of their ability to stop the run and cover.
It was a first down run for Hightower.
What is it?
Beck completes at the 45-yard line. Falling forward was Santana Moss. He came in with 23 catches, leader on the team, and he's got 2 so far.
And you can see, and I'll tell you, Beck's got terrific mobility, gets good protection here on the edge from Hightower, but Beck's got very good mobility. Watch him get to the back, and then the quick release with accuracy. That's terrific ball location. I'll tell you who he reminds me of a little bit. He's nowhere close to being the player because he hasn't had a lot of opportunity, but Drew Brees, just in kind of the way that he plays.
He credited Brees with helping him in between opportunities.
Rhino! Shots!
A handoff to Hightower. Fighting for yardage after the completion of 16 yards from John Beck to Moss. He hands it to Hightower.
Well, is this Canadian football? Because what's the fullback, Darrell Young, and he was gone a half a second. Here's the fullback. He's going to take off and block long before the ball's even snapped. And Chris, the officials missed it. And you can get out and go in motion. That's not a problem.
It's definitely a missed call.
Absolutely. When you head towards the line of scrimmage, that's a foul. The officials missed that one.
7-yard run on 2nd and 3. Hightower, first down and knockdown at the 40. Hightower got the start to open the year. The former Arizona Cardinal has not lost a fumble this year. That was the rap on him back in Arizona. Missed last week's game because of the shoulder injury, but gets spelled by Ryan Terrain and Roy Halou.
Yeah, and where you like Hightower is he's a guy that typically likes to get out on the edge. He just ran that one downhill behind his fullback, Darrell Young, but we've already shown it once. He's an outstanding pass protector.
What is it?
John Beck almost intercepted. He threw behind, and linebacker James Anderson got his hands up.
Boy, it was almost like Beck decided he was going to throw that football pre-snap no matter what, because he fires this, tries to get it right down the seam to the tight end, Fred Davis. There was a guy playing in front, that being James Anderson, and a defender, the safety, playing behind him. And Beck tried to squeeze that one in. Lucky it wasn't intercepted.
Penalty flag.
False start. Offense, number 83. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That's out Fred Davis, so it's 2nd and 15. Mike Shanahan, back-to-back Super Bowl titles in Denver in his 2nd year here. Some people relating John Beck to Jake Plummer in terms of the kind of offense you might see him run here.
Well, he's got more mobility for sure than Rex Grossman, and I think that's a big reason why Mike Shanahan really feels like he's ready to be the guy.
Beck's pass is batted in the air and incomplete. Charles Johnson got his arms up.
There's Charles here, who's having, or excuse me, that's Antoine Applewhite, Chris, who ends up getting it. They just got him a couple of games ago. He's rushing Jamal Brown and just reads the quarterback. And I'll tell you, there's batted balls all over this league. When you look at all the spread passing attack and how quick the ball comes out, it's as good as a pressure in terms of getting the ball batted down.
Beck on 3rd down, and the ball's loose. That is a fumble. And the Panthers have it. Antoine Applewhite caused the fumble.
Here's Applewhite. He is standing up, which makes him closer to the line of scrimmage and makes it a tougher block for Jamal Brown. And he's got no chance. Just turns the corner on him.
And Terrell McClain, Tim, came up with the fumble recovery. First turnover. The Panthers have the football.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all. And by Verizon 4G LTE. America's fastest, most reliable 4G network.
Panthers have the football, leading 3-0. Applewhite, who was a linebacker in San Diego when Ron Rivera was the defensive coordinator, making big plays early. 1st and 10 for Cam Newton.
180. 180.
Pressure coming, and he goes down, and there's a penalty flag. Adam Carricker got in for his 4th sack. Well, let's see what the flag is all about.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, offense, number 77. 15-yard penalty, replay, first down.
That's Byron Bell, the rookie out at right tackle, who was beat bigger than Dallas by this guy, Ryan Kerrigan. Kerrigan's the one that really forces this sack, Chris. Watch him get upfield, turn the corner on Byron Bell. Now Cam Newton's got to step up, and there Carricker and LaRon Landry are waiting for him. Kerrigan seems to get better every single game when you watch that rookie play. He hasn't played like a rookie once this year. You can start with the opener against the New York Giants when he was making plays all over the place.
Eagles did a pretty good job on the rookie last week, but he has been spectacular for a first-year player. Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, talking about how well he has fit in. So 2nd down at 16. The penalty was declined. They took the sack. Pass is complete to Legadou Mine. It'll bring a 3rd down. Let's get a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Playing in London, the Bears, well, it doesn't matter where they are. They rely on Matt Forte. Going against the Bucs, Forte, 32 yards, moving and grooving on the touchdown run. Bears on top, 7-0. And you know what, Chris and Tim? LeGarrette Blount already out with an injury. They replaced him with Ernest Graham, and now he's out with an injury. So Tampa Bay struggling right now in the running game.
And the standings in the NFC North. In the East, the Redskins, with the Giants on a bye, trying to go to 4-2. On 3rd down, here's pressure, it's picked up. Newton throws, and incomplete, out of bounds. It'll bring up the first Carolina punt of this game. There were 2 receivers in the area.
You know, I tell you, I'm surprised that they really haven't run the ball more with their running backs. Jonathan Stewart's coming off a very big day last week against Atlanta. D'Angelo a couple of weeks ago against New Orleans. And I think you start adding up the numbers for those running backs. There's been 4 carries for the running backs in this game. That's it. Cam's taken off 4 times on his own.
Jason Baker to punt. Brandon Banks will watch it and wait for the fair catch. And he hauls it in inside the 12-yard line. John Beck and the Redskins will get their 2nd chance on offense, trailing 3-0. Trent Williams out with an ankle injury. Corey Lichtensteiger on injured reserve with a knee injury.
Yeah, and Will Montgomery, the center, will go, as he has here in the game and did last year, goes to play guard. There's Chris Foerster right there, the offensive line coach, one of the better ones in the National Football League. One good thing, though, Eric Cook and John Beck have spent a lot of time together, center quarterback on the scout team.
Hightower across the 30. Charles Godfrey ran him down after a 17-yard run.
Very, very good block by Will Montgomery right here, the left guard. Typically plays center, as I said. Watch him get out here and just hook the defensive tackle. No chance for big Ron Fields right there, and that's a huge hole for Tim Hightower, who typically, as I said earlier, Chris, he likes to get out to the edge. His big runs today have been straight downhill.
Hey, 4-4-4-50. Ready, next one.
Hightower carries again. This time he's bottled up after maybe a yard gain. He came in averaging 3.5 yards a carry. The leading rusher, but the only Redskin runner with a 100-yard game so far this year, Ryan Terrain, who did it against the Rams.
How about Terrain in that Rams game? That guy was putting the smash on that Rams defense.
I'm sure we'll see him at some point in this game.
I'll tell you where they like to use Halou, the draft pick out of Nebraska, is when they start to wear down the defense late, because that guy's high octane in terms of his real speed. He is a 4.4 guy in the 40.
On 2nd and 8. And he pushes forward. What an effort. It'll bring up 3rd down and short.
And that's the right read on the inside zone play right there. The defensive tackle overplayed it, so he cut back up inside. Here's a good example of it. You attack the defensive tackle, which we call the 3 technique, outside shade on the guard, and it's a 1 read for the running back. He sees that hat to the outside. That was Terrain in the Ram game. He sees the hat to the outside. He's going to stick his foot in the ground. There's a 1 read, 1 cut. You hear coordinators say it all the time, Chris, about the zone running game. That was a good example of how it works.
Yeah, Roy Halou, the rookie, is in on 3rd and 3. Penalty.
Penalties by first downs are first downs by penalties are crushes.
Offside, defense number 95, holding, offense number 75. Those fouls offsets, replay, 3rd down.
So you got Charles Johnson and Sean Locklear.
That doesn't seem right, that a guy jumps off sides and then you get called for a holding call. That just doesn't seem like that's equitable to me.
Usually the offside is the penalty.
That doesn't seem like that's equitable. That's not fair.
We've had a couple box calls here by the officials in this opening quarter. So we'll replay 3rd down. Roy Halou. 4th down. James Anderson in on the stop.
Like James Anderson just comes unblocked.
And there is a penalty flag.
He's really the only starting linebacker they have left when you talk about those 3 backers in that 4-3 defense. When you talk James Anderson with Thomas Davis and then of course the beast John Beeson going down.
Jason Phillips became the 8th different starting linebacker already for the Panther defense. A 3rd down run. The Panthers stopped the Redskins. And there's a penalty flag that Jerome Boger and crew are trying to sort out.
At the conclusion of the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 56 for swinging at the opponent. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Thomas Williams called for the penalty.
And there he is there, 56. Yeah, he just little left hook on Niles Paul and then a little right cross to follow it up. Can't have that. It can't stop, and you do that.
You're giving the Redskins a fresh set of downs when they would have been punting. So now inside the 49-yard line of Carolina. John Beck, who lost a fumble last time around. A great opportunity here. Tim Hightower. First down, all the way down inside the 32 before Applewhite ran him down.
And this is what I'm used to seeing Tim Hightower do. The stretch play where he's going to get to the edge on the outside zone. Watch the block, Chris, by Fred Davis right here. Watch him kick down on the defensive end. He's going to stab at him. And then now watch him lock onto the linebacker and give that extra running room to Tim Hightower. That's a big-time block. That's where Fred Davis is certainly underrated.
A 17-yard run, already 64 yards for Tim Hightower in the opening quarter. And here comes another penalty.
Terrell McClain again up in the gap before the snap.
Outside defense, number 97, moving into the neutral zone early. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Ron Rivera's team, one of the most penalized in the league, and we've already in this game had 6, 5 of which have been accepted. So it's going to be 1st and 5 Redskins.
Yeah, and you hate to see that for a coach because your margin for error when you're not very good is not big. So you can't have self-inflicted wounds. We've seen several by this defense.
Hightower the carry. Maybe a yard or two. And that's going to end the opening quarter. An impressive opening drive by Cam Newton ends up with 3. But the Redskins are on the move. The Panthers lead the Redskins 3-0 after 1. Glad you're with us from Charlotte, North Carolina. 3-0 Panthers to start the second quarter, along with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, and the first start in 4 years for John Beck. Trying to get some points on the board on 2nd down 2.
180. Scoop. 180.
Hightower's for the story. Carries here, and he is bottled up by Dan Connor and company. It'll be 3rd down.
Boy, I'll tell you who's playing well right now in this game. It's number 93, Antoine Applewhite. You talked about it early. He just set the run, set the edge in the run game right there like crazy. There was nowhere for the back to go. He had to cut up inside. And he knows this defense, even the 4-man stuff or the 3-down stuff, and I think we'll see some of that today. He knows it because he spent a lot of time with Rivera.
On 3rd down and 2. And it is a first down for Mike Shanahan, who rolled the dice in a sense after Rex Grossman led him to a 3-2 record. Going with John Beck as his starter today. Beck already with a turnover and a sack and a fumble.
Yeah, and it was that guy right there, Antoine Applewhite, that did it. And as I said, he knows Ron Rivera's system from San Diego. Look at the 8 runs, 0 pass on this drive.
Beck rolling. And keeping. And now inside the 15-yard line. John Beck, one of the reasons, Tim, you said he was in there, the mobility, something Rex Grossman didn't have a lot of.
Well, and Mike Shanahan told us about that yesterday. He said, look, I gave Rex 3 opportunities last year, 5 this year. They're going to fake the stretch this way, and then here comes Beck out to the edge. And as he said, Rex just doesn't have the ability to extend plays with his legs like this guy right here, John Beck. And then he referenced John Elway, then he referenced Jake Plummer. They won 72% of their games with Jake Plummer because of his mobility on all those plays that work off of that zone running game.
Inside the 15. Tim Hightower looking for some place to go. Dan Connor is there. 11th carry for Hightower.
And the zone run has certainly been the theme today. Here you're going to see Hightower. He's going to bust it out to the right side on this stretch right. Now he's going to take it up inside on the inside zone play. Here he's going to take it inside again. Great read there, reading the hat of the defensive tackle. And then this one, he bounces, gets a great block by his tight end, Fred Davis. It's been a little bit of everything for Tim Hightower, who's off to a big-time start.
So 3rd and 2 from inside the 14. Roy Halou checks in. Beck looks for Jabbar Gaffney and is batted away. Thomas Williams from his linebacker spot.
Boy, nice play by Thomas Williams, but I'm telling you, Beck missed one here. Austin will go inside. Watch Anthony Armstrong and how open he is out in the flat. And John Beck never looked that way.
He zeroed in on Gaffney all the way. This will be a 31-yard field goal attempt on 4th down from Graham Gano. 9 out of 12 so far this year. Snap and hold are good, and he slips it through, so we are tied at 3. John Beck of the Redskins. The drive stalls, and we're tied in the second quarter. Redskins ready to kick off after the Graham Gano field goal. So Cam Newton will get an opportunity. Took the opening drive down inside the 5, but had to settle for a field goal. He has said he's gone from being sad about losing close games to being mad, and he expects the wins to come.
I'll tell you who's been a huge asset for him has been Mike Shula, his quarterback's coach. He really has. I was talking to Derek Anderson, the backup quarterback, who knows this system, and the offensive coordinator, Rob Chudzinski, and he said Mike Shula has just done a great job of preparing Cam Newton to read defenses in the National Football League.
Gano's kick for Polaris, and Polaris is going to bring it out. And the Redskins special teams. Coach Danny Smith does such a great job with that group as a flag is down. Another penalty. We've got 5 that have been accepted so far. There's Danny Smith.
His coverage units are
During
outstanding.
Return, holding, receiving team, number 56. Have to get to the goal. Carolina keeps the ball. First down, timeout.
So Thomas Williams called for the penalty, made the big defensive play. But on the move, the Panthers hope Cam Newton can get them going.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. By Chase. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom. And by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness.
Santana Moss back from the locker room. They are checking his left hand. He caught the first 2 passes that were completed by John Beck. We'll get an update and check on his condition. But right now, Cam Newton on 1st and 10. Jonathan Stewart carries and cuts through up to the 13-yard line.
I will tell you this. This is, in my mind, the best center, Chris, in the National Football League. Watch Ryan Khalil. He's going to hook the nose tackle. Then he's going to get off to the back or to the safety, Laron Landry. He has got great feet. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He got a huge contract in the offseason. He's the best in the business, I promise you.
Doesn't hurt that he went to the same school as you, USC.
Oh, that's true.
On 2nd down, it's Stewart again. Look out, Jonathan Stewart. All the way out across the 40-yard line. Reed Dowdy in for Toshimago Otagwe, ran him down after a 29-yard gain.
2 very good blocks. One's Legadou Nene, and watch Greg Olsen. Both of them are going to set the edge here for Jonathan Stewart. And they catch the Redskins in a little stunt up inside. They pick it up. And this is the running game that I've been talking about with the Carolina Panthers.
You said you thought they would go to the run a little bit more. They mark it all the way up at the 42. So that 1-2 punch of D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart effective.
Well, and I think if you look at how this season has gone for Carolina, and talking to Ron Rivera, and I've talked to Ron quite a bit over the last month and a half or so, and Ron said, look, we got the #1 overall pick. Our emphasis was to build this passing game, to get Cam Newton ready to go in this passing league. He said, but the last couple of weeks, we've certainly changed that point of emphasis into the run game, and they've gotten it cranked up, Chris, pretty good.
D'Angelo Williams gets this carry and cuts through. Rocky McIntosh making the stop. D'Angelo Williams came in averaging 5.3 yards a carry. That's about his career average, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think where everybody's missing the boat on the Carolina Panthers and how much fun it is to talk about Cam Newton and these running backs, that offensive line has played really pretty darn good if you go back and watch all their games this year. And I don't think a lot of people expected that, especially when they lost a couple of starters in Jeff Schwartz and Jeffrey Otah.
Cam Newton goes down in the arms of Adam Carricker. His 5th sack of the year.
And this is a busted protection by the right tackle. Big number 77, Byron Bell. Look at him step down and block nobody. And Adam Carricker comes off the edge unblocked. Man, I wish that could have happened to me in my career. That never happened.
Redskins with 19 sacks of the quarterback this year. So it's going to be 3rd down and 13. There's the rookie moved into the starting lineup, Byron Bell, because of the injury that you mentioned to Jeff Otow.
And Carricker has just been nothing short of outstanding for this Redskins defense this year.
Cam Newton passes right there to Steve Smith, and he hauled it in, keeping his feet in bounds. What a connection on a 3rd down. A 17-yard toss from Newton.
And how about the timing and the accuracy of that throw, and then Steve Smith tiptoeing before he goes out of bounds. Ball's on time. It's delivered with perfect accuracy. Under 3 seconds. Came out in 2.9 seconds. Stevie, one of the best in the business at tapping those toes before he goes out of bounds.
The other 89, they're icing the hand of Santana Moss on the Redskins sideline. Doubtful return for Santana as this pass is complete to Smith, who's fighting hard for another 1st down. And still fighting. He's only 5'9", but as Cam Newton said, he has the heart of a 7-footer.
Yeah, he plays like a 7-footer. He is tenacious.
A 21-yard gain.
That guy defies father time. Watch the block, though, that he gets from his comrade here in Brandon LaFell. LaFell's going to take Kevin Barnes and just wipe him off the screen. And then Jordan Gross gets out there and leads the way for Steve Smith, who is, Chris, not going down easy.
Jonathan Stewart checks in. LaFell, one of the better blockers on this team. On 1st and 10, the inside handoff, not much there. Let's get a game break. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, the San Diego Chargers score again at the Jets. Phillip Rivers hooking up with his tight end, Antonio Gates. I've been able to say that since week 2. Gates out the last 4. They paying dividends. Today, they're up 14-3 at the Jets. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. Chargers lead in the AFC West. They're North Turner's son on the coaching staff with Ron Rivera here in Carolina. As London Fletcher still going strong in his 14th year. In trouble, he gets it off to Shockey. And look at Jeremy Shockey fight for a 1st down.
Boy, Cam Newton has got a lot of poise, doesn't he? As he's looking to the right, then dumps it off to Shockey. Watch Cam's eyes will be this way. Here's Shockey, who he ends up getting the football to. Shockey's going to block now. He's going to peel out. And then London Fletcher just can't disengage off of Jordan Gross. That's what I was talking about earlier, Chris, with Shockey. He can still run after the catch for a guy that's been in the league as long as he has.
A violent runner. That's what defenders say about him. So Shockey,
his whole game is volatile.
Gets the Panthers to the 11-yard line on 1st down. Williams is brought down. Excellent defense there by Ryan Kerrigan. And this drive started way back inside the 10.
Yeah, Woods knew. That's happened to the Carolina Panthers all year. They have played with long fields for their offense. I think as much or more than anybody through the first 6 games because they don't force any turnovers on defense. They forced 5 turnovers on defense all year coming into the game today. They don't have much of a return game in the special teams, so they've definitely worked with a long field most of the season.
They did get a turnover on the fumble and recovery. It's the 10th play of this drive on 2nd down. Cam Newton is hit and hangs on to the football. Drilled by Arakpo.
That's what you call a spinal tap shot. Watch this. Arakpo comes unblocked. Bang! Helmet right in the back of Cam Newton. Cam Newton's bigger than Brian Arakpo. Look at this shot.
Jim Haslett showed Brian Arakpo some video of Will Smith talking about using a power rush.
It didn't take much power there. He came unblocked. Jordan Gross blocked down, and Arakpo came scot-free around the corner.
4.5 sacks this season for Arakpo. 3rd and 17. And we're going to get a timeout. We're tied at 3 in Carolina. 3rd and 17 in a battle of field goals for Cam Newton.
And Cam Newton has been outstanding all season on 3rd down. This is a big one here. Now they're already in field goal range, clearly. Sniffing out Greg Olsen. He doesn't have a catch in this game. I would be surprised if Greg Olsen, who's lined up in the slot, is not targeted here.
Redskins drop back. It's a 4-man rush. Newton throws underneath and well short as Legadou Nene was the target, and he hauled it in, so that'll force a field goal attempt. It'll be the 2nd of the game.
And there was nobody on Greg Olsen. He ran about 10-12 yards off the ball on his stem, which is the beginning part of his route, and nobody got near him.
Alindo Mare will try and give the Panthers the lead. A 30-yard attempt. He was good from 20 earlier. Snap, hold, kick, and good. And there is a penalty flag.
Holding. Offense. Number 84. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 4th down.
It's on Ben Hartsock. 6th penalty on Carolina so far. So that's going to back up the field goal try. Take it off the board for the moment.
And there's Hartsock right there. Sorry for the crazy circle, but 84.
Did you see the hold?
Yeah, he's playing the wing back there on Ron Landry.
It'll be a 40-yard field goal try. And we have another penalty. And Ron Rivera is starting to get upset about this.
False start. Offense. Number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So Reggie Wells now called for this penalty. The Panthers are going in the wrong direction. His season long is 42. Alindo Mare will try a 45. And Ron, the official's just smiling with that whistle in his mouth, and Rivera's steaming. Baker the holder. Let's play beat the penalty. Snap, hold, the kick, and yeah, he got it. So after all that, the Panthers have a 6-3 advantage.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150, the only truck available with EcoBoost.
Ron Rivera, talking to Jerome Boger, thought that maybe the official was in the middle of things, delaying the snap, and then of course the penalty called the 2nd consecutive penalty on the Panthers. But Alindo Mare did what he had to do, and now kicking off with a 6-3 advantage, Brandon Banks back to return. Touchback trend continues. John Beck will bring the offense out to the 20-yard line.
I hate that rule. I hate the kickoff up to the 35. I really do. And you got touchbacks are up 300% in the National Football League. What happened to the excitement of the kick return?
Redskins checking Reed Dowdy on the sideline. He got the start because O.J. Atagwe has a knee injury and is out. And Santana Moss with his hand wrapped, doubtful return, the star receiver. And John Beck will have to find some different targets. Tim Hightower has been the workhorse with 11 carries, 71 yards. Here's another one. Tripped up short at the 24-yard line.
I tell you, they've done a good job at the point of attack. The offensive lineman blocking for Tim Hightower. He's had an explosive afternoon here, Chris, but the passing game has been almost non-existent. When Beck drops back to throw, I think he's had 3 batted balls in this game. Only got 91 yards of total offense so far. The Redskins, 17 of it through the air.
His last start in 2007 has only 2 completions with Santana Moss. Hightower carries It'll bring up third down. Passing situation for John Beck, who talked about in the time that he was trying to get back in to start in the NFL, from whether it was Miami and Baltimore and then here with Washington. Drew Brees in the offseason at the suggestion of Cam Cameron. Spent time with him in San Diego, learned how to work. He said if he works that hard and he's a starter and a star, I can do it and I will do it. And credits Brees with helping him get back to this level. Pass is thrown to Anthony Armstrong. And the catch was made. There's a flag down as well. Anthony Armstrong is back after a hamstring knocked him out of the last 3 games. Dante Stallworth inactive.
Personal foul. Grabbing a twist in the face mask. Defense, number 41. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's on Captain Munnerlyn.
Maybe Private Munnerlyn after that one if you're Ron Rivera or Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator.
He's had a good year, but that misplay and another penalty costly.
There's Munnerlyn out on the edge. I didn't. No, he was on the other side.
Well, the 15-yard catch by Armstrong, or the penalty tacked on, a 24-yard gain on first down. Hightower slips one tackle, run out of bounds. Let's get an update with Kurt Menefee.
Hey, how about this? A Roy Williams sighting in London. Chicago's Jay Cutler hooking up with Williams. His first touchdown as a Bear. Chicago leads the Bucs 14-2. Approaching halftime. Chris and T-Rock.
Thanks, Kurt. Always fun being overseas. It's hard to think of the Bears. They were in the championship game last year. Seemed like people are treating them differently. It's a whole new year.
And I'll tell you this, Jay Cutler has stepped it up over the last few games. You've watched the Bears play.
Buck got second down. The throw incomplete. He was looking for Gaffney. It'll be third down. You thought he played okay back when he came in.
I really did.
Relief, but he looks a little rusty
here.
He
is out of sync today for sure. And I think part of that's nerves. When you haven't started a game in 4 years and the guy's thrown one touchdown pass in his career, you know, he prepared all week as the starter, and you know those nerves can weigh on you for sure. And I think he's been a little bit up and down in this game. But you go back to last week, and he was sharp in the fourth quarter. 8 of 15, Chris, in that game, and he had 4 drops. Could have been much better if his receivers would have helped him out.
Some confusion as Anthony Armstrong was late getting off the field. This may have something to do on third down with the injury.
First charge timeout, Washington.
To Santana Moss.
30-second timeout.
So the Redskins do take a timeout to discuss this. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half. Just over 3 minutes. And the Panthers with a 6-3 advantage. America's game of the week following us here. Packers, Vikings, and the Rams and Cowboys. A.J. Feely starting for Sam Bradford.
Yeah, and I think that's the right move. Sam got hurt at the end of the game last year. The last play against the Green Bay Packers. And with as beat up as their O-line is and as many sacks as they've taken against DeMarcus Ware and the boys, I think that's the wise decision.
And rookie Christian Ponder starting for the Vikings in the game against Green Bay. So it's 3rd and 9. Redskins are 3 out of 5 on third down so far. 4 wide receivers. And Roy Halou the back. Beck completes for a first down to Gaffney. Inside the 35 of Carolina.
Nice pocket presence by John Beck there. He did a nice job of just looking to the left. Now watch him step to the right and find a little open throwing lane and deliver it right to Gaffney against the zone.
His best throw of the day, Tim, a 17-yard pickup.
And that was a good job by him, like I said, moving laterally to open up that throwing window to deliver the accurate football.
Hey, 55. 180. Scoop. 180.
Penalty flag as Hightower carries. Gets inside the 26-yard line before Dan Connor ran him down. We'll check the flag.
Tell you what, Beck's got a pretty good hard count for a guy who hasn't played for a long time. He's got these guys jumping.
Defense, number 94, moving early into the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Sione Fua, the rookie from Stanford, the call. So that is now the 9th penalty on the Carolina Panther team today. Moves the ball inside the 29. Right at the 29, where it'll be first down and 5 to go.
Hey, 55. Okay, read it.
Hightower has it. Brought down after a gain of maybe 3.5, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. The Carolina Panthers lead the Redskins 6-3, but Washington's on the move. Tim Hightower with 78 yards rushing.
Yeah, and Beck with only 44 yards throwing. You see the play selection there, and why not? Look, Carolina is not good in run defense. They're 31st out of 32 teams in the NFL. And the Redskins have lost their best receiver in Santana Moss with a hand injury.
Second down 2. Beck's in trouble. Throws the ball in the dirt. Here comes the flag.
That's absolutely grounding.
It's an incomplete pass, but intentional grounding should be the call.
Yeah, that's not even close.
Greg Hardy put the pressure on.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 12, spot the foul, lost a down, third down.
It's a big defensive play now.
Well, and this guy's having a big year, Greg Hardy. He really is. Second-year pro. He was on John Beck quicker than a hiccup right there. Beck had nowhere to go. As soon as he spun out, watch, he's right in his face. And you simply can't do that.
Ron Rivera, the former Bear player, said Hardy has some of the possibilities of a Richard Dent type of player. Not putting him in that category.
Well, he's got attitude. Potential. He's nasty, and I played with Richard. That's all attitude. Richard was certainly skilled, but Hardy has got that attitude, that nasty disposition.
John Beck throws complete short of a first down, hauled in by Terrence Austin. So at the 32-yard line.
Boy, Beck certainly to me looks much more rusty than he did in the football game last week in the fourth quarter when he came in for Rex Grossman. And the Eagles knew he was going to throw. He threw 15 times. He was much sharper in that game than he has been.
It looks like they're going to go here on fourth down, passing up a 49-yard field goal. 4th and 7.
Maybe Beck tries to hard count him and get those D linemen jumping again and move it a little closer for Graham Gano.
Well, they're going to take a timeout given where the clock is. It's just over a minute to play. So the Redskins will have one timeout remaining. Maybe they'll rethink the field goal or going for it on 4th and 7. Big news in Washington when the quarterback change was made to John Beck, who attended Mountain View High School in Mesa, Arizona. From high school, served his mission in Portugal. Started at BYU as a true freshman. We know they're watching and rooting in Salt Lake City. Drafted in the 2nd round by the Dolphins in 2007. 4 career games there, but got in last week in relief. Got a touchdown for the Redskins in a tough loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, and then got his 5th career start today. And seemed relaxed when we spoke to him, but has not been on his game so far.
That's right, and they are going to kick the field goal. Try to bomb this one from 49 yards out.
And the kick is good. So the Redskins tie things up here in Charlotte.
You know, you mentioned Beck and not playing for the last 4 years since 2007 in Miami. We asked him yesterday, did you ever think about giving up the game? He said, heck no, I would never think of that for a minute. Now, he did have some counsel and talking to guys. We talked about Drew Brees. He also went to the former BYU quarterback Steve Young and asked him and said, Steve, how'd you do it? Sitting and waiting for all those years. Kind of a funny answer. Steve Young said, I used to run wind sprints
just to keep
after the games, just to stay in it.
You know, I was talking to Chris Cooley before the game, who's confident that John Beck can help this Redskin team. In fact, Cooley said, I'm so confident I picked him up in my fantasy league. So far, the fantasy number's not there, but the Redskins locked it a 6-all tie. And John Beck, who after the game Sunday night when he came in relief, said he went home, was talking to his wife, but his mind was on watching the game, so he ran over to the facility of the Redskins to watch film just before he knew he was going to be named the starter.
Yeah, and she gave him the pass because he said she was sitting there trying to talk to him, and then she looked at him and said, you're not even listening to me.
Yeah,
go to the facility. I know what you want to do.
Go do your job. Beck so far just 5 out of 9 and lost the fumble. There's Chris Cooley.
Well, sideburns look cool.
How about that? He did
70 special right there.
Operated on his finger, and he's got his knee. He says, I want to get back this year somehow, some way. And into the end zone. It's another one of your touchbacks. So from the 20-yard line, it'll be 1st and 10 Panthers. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime report, we'll have all the guys talking about the scores and highlights from around the league. Tebow making his first start. San Diego and the Jets, that should be pretty good. Plus all the stats and fantasy stuff for you. Coming up on the Visa halftime report. But now, let's send it back to the games.
Thanks, Kurt. And John Beck, one of 6 quarterbacks starting this weekend that was not a previous starter the week before. Cam Newton has been the man in Carolina with 2 timeouts. He goes out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down. They may have lost a yard.
Well, that guy is fearless. We saw him earlier try to lay out from the 5-yard line into the end zone. Interesting in talking to guys around the league that have told me, even as big as he is, he's not going to last with some of those blast-off knockout shots that he's taken through the first 6 games. We asked him about that the other day. He said he got some advice from the old Bo Jackson. He said, Bo knows. Know when your journey has come to an end and get down. I haven't seen that from Cam Newton all year. He's not taking that advice.
Here comes pressure at 2nd down. It's picked up. Newton has time and throws incomplete for Greg Olsen. Newton said that Bo Jackson gave him the line about regret. I regretted my career that when, you go for it when you have to, but don't be afraid to step out of bounds. You'll last longer no matter how big, no matter how strong, no matter how tough you are.
Yeah, this SEC is big-time football, but the National Football League guys are bigger, faster, stronger, and they're going to rock you.
Yeah, you talked about Mike Schuler's quarterback coach, who was saying before the game, he told me that he gets great feedback from Cam Newton as well. He sees so many things that even during the timeouts, he helps assess plays. The pass is almost intercepted. Thrown high for Olsen, and D'Angelo Hall was there. Missed a pick on that one.
Yeah, and D'Angelo Hall playing off and soft. He read this route all day long. Greg Olsen sitting and waiting for it. Cam's lucky that one wasn't a pick 6. Back to the house, making a house call for D'Angelo.
And this crowd ready to erupt for Cam Newton or a touchdown from the Panthers, but the Redskin defense with 4 sacks today has held Carolina to field goals, and it's been the same on the other side for Washington.
And this is an area for the Panthers. They have not been good with their punt coverage.
Baker boots it. Brandon Banks back. And that's good coverage.
That's great coverage. The captain just became the Major Munnerlyn.
You keep promoting him and demoting him. I can't wait for the second half. Last night, as we look at the coverage here from Captain Munnerlyn on Banks.
Yeah, Banks in a full-blown backpedal, and as he caught the ball, he could not get his feet started again to go forward. Munnerlyn was all over him.
Now Washington has 1 timeout. They're at their own 31 with John Beck at 36 seconds. You just run it out here?
I'd like to see him take a couple of shots. Anthony Armstrong can run by anybody.
to throw on first down for Gaffney, who makes a nice move, and he can't hold on. He cut on the inside and had his hands on the football. Darius Butler, the former Patriot, back there covering.
And that's the longest ball he's tried to distribute in this football game, trying to take a shot down the sideline. And threw it to the back shoulder of Gaffney, and it looked like a real nice play by Darius Butler, because it looked like Gaffney had it.
Rex Grossman, we saw him in the pregame, but we have not seen him. He's not been visible on the Redskins sideline. And we will keep an eye on this at halftime and through the second half. Roy Halou is in on 2nd and 10. Gaffney has it. It's not a first down as he loses the football, and the Panthers are on it. Captain Munnerlyn. Captain, oh Captain.
You're going to see it coming from the left of your screen. Gaffney on a crossing route. Here it is, well thrown.
Munnerlyn causes and Anderson recovers.
That's right. And Munnerlyn wrapped him up and then used his right hand, it looked like, just to punch it out.
In field goal range. 2 timeouts for Carolina. Second.
Was it Charles Johnson that came and knocked that out?
Swooping by.
It looked like Charles Johnson was the one that came in.
Let's give him a little credit.
Flashed in and punched it out.
Cam Newton's throw to the sideline, complete at the 30 to Greg Olsen. 17 seconds remain and 2 timeouts, remember, for the Panthers.
What a huge mistake by Jabbar Gaffney with this amount of time left in the half. In scoring position for the Carolina Panthers, and you drop the ball. And Carolina, listen, we talked about it coming in. They had 5 turnovers coming into the game today. They've already punched it out a couple of times, Chris.
A fumble recovery from John Beck, and that one from Gaffney by James Anderson. Going deep. No flags. Josh Wilson was running with Steve Smith. Steve Smith has 4 catches of 50 yards or more to lead the NFL. That one was going to be from 30.
Now you got to ask yourself the question, 2 timeouts left. Do you want to take a shot into the end zone, or do you want to try to get yourself a little closer for the field goal for Olindamare? I think right here it'd be a 49-yarder.
It's 3rd down. They need 6 for the first, but the clock is more important. Steve Smith goes out of bounds. 7 seconds remain.
Yeah, they chose to just get it a little closer for the kicker, Olindamare.
Cam Newton has said, I don't care if I throw for 400 and we lose, that's not good. I'll throw for 100 and I'll take a win. It's been that kind of a slug it out game so far. And Olindamare with a chance on a 45-yard try to give the Panthers the lead over John Beck and the Redskins. The Gaffney fumble has given Carolina this opportunity. Washington with its final time.
Timeout, Washington.
The Redskins with a win can go to 4-2. The Giants, NFC East, whom the Redskins have already defeated, have a bye week along with the Eagles, who are 2-4. Of course, the Cowboys, you expect them to get things going. They'll play later at home against the Rams. The Visa halftime report. The guys will keep you up to date on all the scores and highlights from around the league. The Fox Sports ticker has all the stats and fantasy league information. How about the Falcons ahead of the Lions, 17-6 nearing the half?
How about San Diego up 11 on the Jets, and some of those comments between Rex Ryan and Norv Turner this week. I thought Norv's response was great, priceless.
So here's the try from Olindamare, and he squeezes it through. Two seconds remain, and the Panthers with a 9-6 lead. We mentioned America's Game of the Week coming up, an NFL doubleheader. How about a tripleheader? The World Series from Texas. Last night the Cardinals took a 2-1 lead. And history made with Albert Pujols at his 3 home runs. Legends are born in October. And Albert Pujols is already a legend. Our coverage of the World Series begins at 8 Eastern. 5 Pacific right here on Fox. Babe Ruth did it twice, Reggie Jackson, but Pujols maybe the best offensive night in the history of a World Series game by an individual with not only the 3 homers, but 5 hits.
Yeah, that's right. 5 of 6 and 6 RBIs.
Texas hopes to bounce back and even the series. Interesting, St. Louis and Dallas playing in the NFL and then also in the World Series with the Cardinals and the Texas Rangers in Arlington.
Now 16 runs. Will the Rams put up 16 against the Cowboys? There's the question.
A fair question, as this should bring us to the half. And it does. Logan Paulson, reserve tight end on it.
I think we're going to have 1 second to go here. 1 untimed play. Or 1 second play. 1 final play here.
Well, maybe the way that the Redskins had fumbled with Beck and Gaffney.
And take a knee.
Let's get in there and discuss things. Redskins have played close games throughout the year. I asked Mike Shanahan about where his team was, and he quickly said, well, we should have beat Dallas. We had a good chance to beat Philadelphia.
Look, this is a huge game for them. The NFC East is going to be congested all year. Philly's starting to catch fire a little bit. As you said, you got a couple of teams off. You've already lost a couple of division games. This is huge.
So we should see more offense in the second half with John Beck and Cam Newton. That's the end of the first half. The score, Carolina 9, the Redskins 6. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Here in Carolina, the hometown Panthers leading Washington by 3. Thanks, Kurt and the guys. We're looking for something super here, and I thought with the quarterback change in Washington, Tim, and of course Cam Newton, all the expectation, we'd see more offense in this game.
Well, we've seen certainly some good running by the Washington Redskins, but John Beck, and you listen to Jimmy right there, has not made mistakes. He's made a couple of good throws, but I'd like to see him drive the football down the field a little bit more, get the ball to his tight end. Fred Davis does not have a catch in this football game, and then Cam Newton has made a bunch of plays. That first drive was terrific, but I think you look at the Redskins, and defensively, once again, outstanding red zone defense, and now they've got 21 sacks on the season. They got 4 sacks in the first half of this game.
And the one thing Tim Hightower in the running game of the Redskins has accomplished is kept the ball away from Cam Newton. He's had a couple of long drives and a couple of turnovers, and that's how Carolina has mustered 3 field goals with a 9-6 advantage, as Brandon Banks will watch the kick from Melinda Mare sail through into the end zone. You can follow your favorite team all season long, no matter where you are or which team you root for. Go to itunes.com/NFL. So John Beck, 6 of 11, has not thrown an interception. He did lose a fumble on a sack. And then, of course, Jabbar Gaffney's fumble on a catch allowed the go-ahead field goal. On 1st and 10. Beck sets up to throw down the middle and completes. That's Gaffney into Carolina territory.
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about. A little play pass, sucks up the linebackers, and Beck just drives it right down the center of the field behind the linebackers. Watch the linebackers step up and play action. Danny Connor bit huge, as did Phillips. That's a good throw by Beck. Ball comes out on time. Increases them right in between the backers and the safety in the zone.
A 32-yard gain. Remember, a hand injury to Santana Moss. Doubtful return. He's been out since late in the first quarter. Hightower. And he fights for 6.5, 7 yards. Let's check in down on the field. Welcome Jamie Maggio. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Chris. Thank you. You know, we saw Rex Grossman get off the bus this morning. We haven't seen him since. I talked to Mike Shanahan. He said Rex had 103 fever last night. He's been in the locker room this entire time on IV. Shanahan did, of course, say that if Beck does go down, that they will call on Rex Grossman to come in and play. Guys, back to you.
thanks, Jamie. We have been watching, as we mentioned, since the second quarter. We hadn't seen Grossman on the sideline or anywhere. We certainly hope his illness is okay, and so do the Redskins. They hope that Beck stays up. Brian Terrain carries on second down. He comes in averaging 5.5 yards a carry, and it'll bring up 3rd and short. Let's check the halftime stats in the battle of field goals.
Yeah, and it's the 2 turnovers that have really been the difference for the Carolina Panthers, and then the penalties for Carolina. They've really shot themselves in the foot. Otherwise, a pretty evenly matched game. And you know what? Doesn't surprise me Rex is sick, because there's something going around. I've been watching London Fletcher now. He's out there playing. He vomited almost that whole first half over on the sidelines. We saw him a couple of times throwing up.
The offenses are anemic, I'll tell you that. On 3rd and 2. Beck, incomplete. Terrence Austin wanting a flag, doesn't get one. So Chris Campbell on coverage, and the Panthers defense gets a stop. Is this in the area where the Redskins are going to go for it? And they are going to go for it from just outside the 40.
Here's who he should have went with right there. There's the matchup. Fred Davis does not have a catch in this game on Thomas Williams. And if Beck wanted him on that crossing route, he had him easily. It's a much more difficult matchup with a very good corner Campbell on Terrence Austin.
They need to get to the 38. It's 4th and 2.
5-0! 5-0!
Pressure. Beck goes down. James Anderson from his linebacker spot was the first one there.
Well, they mugged up. They put both of those backers on each side of the center and just crashed it inside. Godfrey comes first. Halou picks him up. A little bit of a delay with James Anderson, who comes unblocked, runs around Aaron Cook for the big sack.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. By Toyota. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Tim Ryan, Chris Myers here in Carolina, and Cam Newton with Jonathan Stewart, his running back, and a 3-point lead. Cam 10 out of 15 so far, 104 yards in the air. He's run for 34. And going deep, and he's got him. Brandon LaFell steps out of bounds inside the 20 of Washington.
What a tremendous throw. And Kevin Barnes is back here playing safety. He's in there for Reed Doughty. And watch Brandon LaFell just take off and get vertical quick. I mean, he just comes vertical and then peels to the outside, gets down the sidelines. And again, that ball out on time under 3 seconds. Cam Newton delivers a perfect throw.
A 37-yard pickup on 1st and 10. Cam Newton has it. He's got the option. Cam Newton has a touchdown.
Boy, did the defense bite on that. Watch the edge defenders as they go down the line of scrimmage with the offensive line who blocks down. Greg Olsen ends up leading the way, and there's just a huge hole there, Chris, for Cam Newton.
And the extra point after the 16-yard touchdown run. And all of a sudden, the Panthers have a 10-point lead. And Cam Newton, his 7th rushing touchdown of the season, equals Vince Young for most rushing touchdowns by a rookie quarterback.
Design here on the touchdown. You're going to see that Jonathan Stewart's going to end up taking a fake here. Everybody blocks down. Arakpo bites down, and then the little sift by Greg Olsen, who's going to lead out in front of Cam Newton. He's going to kick out Reed Doughty right there. And Cam, all 255 pounds of him, untouched for 6 points.
50 yards rushing today, 7 touchdowns on the ground to go with his 7 touchdown passes, as in the end zone this time Brandon Banks is coming out and stopped short of the 20-yard line. We'll see how John Beck responds to the rookie Cam Newton, who gives his team a 10-point lead.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call Star NFL from your Verizon phone to get NFL Mobile.
The NFL record for touchdown runs by a quarterback, Steve Grogan of the Patriots. 12 in one season back in the 70s. Vince Young, for a rookie quarterback, scoring on the ground. 7 in 2006. And moments ago, Cam Newton equaled that. And it looks like Grogan's record is next on his hit list.
Awesome, Cam Newton. And here's the beauty of Cam. He throws for 300 yards a game. He's not having a huge day through the air today. 11 of 16 for 141 yards. But on the year, it's been 300 per for Cam Newton.
So Beck throwing on first down. And completing Fred Davis' first catch of the game out near the 40. You said, Tim, this is on Beck now, trailing by 10.
Absolutely. Look, here's Fred Davis here. He's going to leak out, and then he's going to run the crossing route, excuse me. You don't get a hand on Fred Davis and you don't jam him, forget it. He is just going to run right through the zone in your defense, and Beck out on the bootleg finds him. Look, with Santana Moss hurt, he's your next best guy. You've got to throw him the football.
2 tight ends with Hightower the back after a 22-yard pickup. Beck again rolling, throwing and completing. Logan Paulson to the 36 of Carolina. The other tight end with Cooley out injured.
Yeah, you like the way Beck has started this second half and getting out on the edge, using those legs, and that ball again came out on time right over the defender Antoine Applewhite. The last play, Chris, it was to the backside tight end Fred Davis, a little longer developing route. That time Logan Paulson was on the front side, the bootleg side for John Beck.
Paulson, a free agent out of UCLA, on the 24-yard pickup. They go back to Hightower.
He's holding his knee. He took a shot.
He sat out the last game with a sore shoulder, and he is in pain. His 17th carry. 85 yards so far for Hightower. Already 3 starters on the offensive line out for this game. Santana Moss left injured, and now Hightower down with an injury.
Here's where Hightower hurt his knee, and this is just a violent cut as he sticks his left foot in the ground right there, and you see the left knee go out. He's already hopping up on it, grabbing it before he even gets contacted by anybody.
Ryan Terrain checks in as he hobbles off, and the crowd here applauding his effort. He has been the workhorse, 17 carries, 88 yards rushing, including a 17-yard run, but now Terrain in on second down 6 from the 32. Beck completes, and he's got Logan Paulson inside the 10. Paulson more of a factor because Cooley out injured. A 24-yard catch and carry.
Boy, Beck looks sharp here in the third quarter, and this is all set up off the big running day. Here's Paulson here. You're going to see play action. He's going to get right behind the defense. Paulson. You see Dan Connor bite on the play action. James Anderson bit on the play action, and Phillips was nowhere to be found. Beck looks very, very sharp here in the second half.
On first and goal, that's Ryan Terrain, and nothing happening. A swarm of Panthers. Anderson first, and they nail him for a loss. It'll be second and goal.
James Anderson out here setting the edge. He's not letting this stretch play get outside of him. No way. That's just perfect. He takes out Fred Davis, and then he takes out the fullback, and then gets a tackle for about a 5-yard loss.
He's having a heck of a game for Virginia Tech. Grew up in Chesapeake, Virginia. As they tend to Tim Hightower. Roy Halou checks in. Beck sets to throw. and completes inside the 5. Fred Davis making the catch. 3rd and goal, Redskins.
You have got to get physical with Fred Davis off the line of scrimmage. If you let him free release and the ball comes out on time from Beck, he's just too hard to cover. His body's too big, and he's got too good of receiving skills as a former wide receiver.
Roy Halou will be the back on 3rd and goal from the 4. John Beck's going to run for a Redskin touchdown. His 2nd touchdown run this year.
Well, and he's got his football legs underneath him now. I can't tell you how good that was in terms of his pocket presence. Look at, he's going to look to the right. He feels Charles Johnson coming unblocked. And he just tucks it down and runs, and you see some of that athleticism. I think he's fired up. He's been waiting to do that all game long.
And the extra point. So after Cam Newton runs it in, John Beck says, I could do that. And he responds. The Redskins are back to within 3 here in Carolina.
Boy, what a signature drive there by John Beck. As I said, he's got his football legs underneath him. He's feeling it, got out on the edge, made some nice plays on the bootleg, and then his awareness on that touchdown run was really outstanding. Nobody out to the right in terms of the coverage. Look to the left. Fred Davis was double covered, and Beck tucked it and ran for the touchdown.
He's thrown for more yards than Cam Newton, and they each have a rushing touchdown. So now the Redskins kicking off. And Polaris at the back of the end zone will down it. So let's see how Cam Newton responds, taking over from the 20-yard line with a 3-point lead.
I want you to watch John Beck here as he looks to the strong side of the formation on the rushing touchdown. There is nobody open, so he looks, nobody open. Now he feels Charles Johnson coming, and there was nowhere to go to the backside. You had 2 guys on Fred Davis, which really opened up the running lane for Beck to come in. You saw Sherrod Martin have to come off late because he was in double coverage, and John Beck punches it in, finishes with the big spike.
And quick enough on his feet and light enough to get in there for the touchdown. Tim Hightower suffering the knee injury. Being taken to the locker room in a cart. On 1st down, here goes Cam. And he's going deep for Steve Smith, and he's got it!
What a great route from Steve Smith. Here he is here. He's going to take it vertical, and then he's going to bend it back out towards the numbers. And Josh Wilson has no idea where he's going. Look at him. As soon as Wilson's hips turned to the inside, Steve broke it to the outside. And there's a good example of how he can get up in the air and go get it.
A 33-yard gain, and what a throw delivered by Cam Newton. D'Angelo Williams on 1st down. And the Redskins smother him. Steve Smith, his 4th catch of the game. He's already surpassed numbers for all of last year.
Well, he's incredible when you look at it in year 11, and he's averaging, coming into today, this cat's averaging 21 yards a catch. Explosive plays all over the place, and a huge reason, Chris, why Cam Newton in this Carolina offense led the league in explosive plays coming into today with 35 of them over 20 plus.
And they were last in that department last season. 2nd and 9. Newton fires, and that's complete. On the other side to Steve Smith. He spins that ball with another 1st down for Carolina.
What you love about Cam is how he'll stand in the pocket now, and he will deliver the football with accuracy. And Steve's going to run a slant route there, a post onto the inside, and again, out on time. Cam Newton is so tall, he can see over all those offensive linemen in front of him. No one blocks his line of sight.
And a good thing at 5'9". There was talk through the changeover about trading Steve Smith. Panthers have held on to him, and it's been a good thing for Cam Newton. He's going to give it to Steve Smith on the end around. Knocked down at the 25 by London Fletcher.
Yeah, I know what you said about Steve, and the thought, I remember last year, right before the trade deadline, there was thoughts that he was going to get moved because they weren't winning games, and really the guy deserved to go win some games somewhere. But I think what happened when they didn't do that, and then they got to the offseason, and Ron Rivera was hired as the head coach. I know Ron told us, he said, look, he went to Steve Smith and he said, here's the offense, here's what we're going to be running, and showed him some of the San Diego tape and said, you want to be a part of this? Steve hasn't looked back since.
At age 32, he's re-energized. D'Angelo Williams fights hard near a first down before Rocky McIntosh rocked his world. Just over 5 minutes here in the third quarter where the offense has finally broken through. He's a warrior. That's how Cam Newton described it. He said, if I'm going to go to a battle, a street fight, I want that guy on my side.
I'm going to send him in first. And he'd like it.
All right, one of the best defenses on third down. In fact, just second by percentage points behind the Jets coming in. The Redskins. The inside handoff to Felton, the fullback. A clever call by Carolina for a first down.
And that's all second and third effort by Felton, because they had him stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Inside the 20, a fresh set of downs for Ron Rivera's offense. Jim Haslett we haven't seen a lot of the blitz styled up.
Well, I think they're afraid to run all that heavy zero blitz with no safety in the middle of the field because Cam Newton's such a terrific runner.
And Cam has the football. He flips it to D'Angelo Williams. That'll bring up second down. They started with both Williams and Stewart in the backfield.
Well, and it's so hard to defend because you've got to account for this guy as a runner. And they're going to end up, he's going to ride the running back here. Arakpo bites on it, which gives Cam Newton the edge. And then at the last second, he sees three Redskin defenders right in his face, and he pitches it back to D'Angelo Williams.
Second and 3. D'Angelo remains the back. D'Angelo Williams with a big hole inside the 5.
If you're going to be a good running team, you better have good blocking by your wide receivers. Watch Legadou Nene right here get locked up on LaRon Landry. Landry can't disengage until that ball's gone for about a 6-yard gain.
First and goal from inside the 5. Jonathan Stewart, the back. Stewart. It'll be second and goal. We had field goals only in the first half. 9-6 Carolina. Each team adding a touchdown here in the third quarter on the legs of their quarterback. Watch out for Cam Newton down here.
Yeah, especially if they end up getting into some no-back situation and go empty. Watch out for the quarterback draw. It's been a staple of their offense. See if they motion Stewart out.
LaFell and Legadou Nene on the right with Steve Smith inside. Handoff, Jonathan Stewart. Touchdown, Panthers. Second touchdown run this season for Jonathan Stewart.
Well, and this is tackle over. They got Jordan Gross really in a tackle over an unbalanced line situation. He gets the big block down, and that was easy for Jonathan Stewart, all 235 pounds of him punching it in.
So with the extra point, it's back to 10. 2:17 to go in the third quarter. Stewart capping an 80-yard drive.
Boy, he is a beast getting up inside, and that set it up, got it down to about the 2-yard line, and then they come in with the tackle over. Jordan Gross goes and plays over on the other side, and they let Jonathan Stewart finish it off, finish what he started.
Tim, you often talk about adjustments made by teams and coaching staffs. How about the offensive adjustments by both of these teams after a slug-it-out defensive first half?
Well, look, listen, Beck came out in the third quarter. He's been terrific. We're going to get a chance to see more of that and see if he can continue it. I think the offensive line here in the third quarter for the Carolina Panthers has been outstanding in opening holes, and then in some of the pass protection stuff. Cam Newton hasn't thrown a bunch here in the second half, but when he has, they haven't got to him. There was 4 sacks in the first half by the Redskin defense.
And in that drive, Cam Newton went to Steve Smith to get the Panthers in position. So 5 catches in the game and 89 yards so far. And that option that Cam Newton ran in the drive, Ron Landry said, hey, we had to worry about it. We had to get ready to study that.
Well, nobody really runs it around the National Football League with the exception of a couple teams that'll give you a couple of reps at it. It took hours this week to try to get ready for the option, and to no avail. They haven't been very good at stopping it.
Touchback in the end zone. Coming out to the 20-yard line, back on the Redskins. The World Series Game 4 coming up tonight from Texas. The Cardinals with a 2-1 advantage. Talk about legends who were made in October. Albert Pujols, exclusive company with his 3-homer game. Reggie Jackson, Babe Ruth did it twice. 3 home runs in a World Series game. How will they pitch him tonight? Find out on Fox after America's Game of the Week. Many of you will see the Cowboys and Rams or the Packers and Vikings. Beck has it. And off the hands of Armstrong. Anthony Armstrong, the fastest receiver of the group, coming back after missing 3 games with a hamstring injury. And again, Santana Moss went out of the first half with a hand injury.
Boy, if I'm Ron Rivera and the Carolina Panthers, I am going to try to send some heat on John Beck. I mean, we've already got the report that Rex Grossman's been in the locker room with 103 temperature. They don't have a backup quarterback to come play. You got to get some hits on this guy.
Beck on the move, and Fred Davis cannot hold on. It'll be 3rd down. When Beck started going to the tight ends is what got this offense moving.
Well, they started really working the edge plays, all the bootleg plays, and him getting out and throwing the ball on time, off the run, very accurate. No reason for that. It's not like Fred turned his head. He just dropped it. He couldn't pluck that ball out of the air. He put it right on his body and just bounced off.
On 3rd down. They need 10. John Beck to Terrence Austin. Fighting hard, but knocked out of bounds. Short of where the first down marker was by Sherrod Martin. Talk about that flu that Rex Grossman is battling. Martin had some of that last week, and they were thin at safety. Carolina, that game against Atlanta.
Yeah, he went in at halftime and didn't come back and play. Ron Rivera told us it lasted 4 or 5 days for Sherrod Martin.
So now, South Rocca, one of the best punters in the game. Monty Edwards with a fair catch. Inside the 35. Good field position for Cam Newton. And the Panthers, that last drive, Steve Smith was visible.
This was a great route and a great throw. Beat some decent coverage. Here he's taking it on an in cut. Ball comes out on time. A little Z reverse.
Been to 4 Pro Bowls, and Tim, I've been down on the sidelines covering games during the activity. He is also a high-energy sideline guy. Works the crowd, works his teammates, adds a lot.
And you know what? For as much as people talk about his volatility, he is highly respected and well-liked by his opponents around the NFL.
D'Angelo Williams on first down. There's a penalty flag thrown back at the 35-yard line.
I think they're going to get Byron Bell on a hold here.
Now, how can you spot that so quickly?
Holding. Offense, number 77.
See?
10-yard penalty, replay.
When you play D-line, you know right where your eyes go. Come on, Chris.
I know. In fact, you played. Let's take a look at what you played the D-line on a team with Ron Rivera back in Chicago.
That's right.
Your old brother.
That's right. Teammates, and when it's at the point of attack like this, and Adam Carricker trying to shed and get back inside, could not disengage. Problem is that happens on every single play. You could call that every play, and we decided to call Bell on that one on a nice run. Because to me, it looked like Carricker tried to disengage and go inside, and Byron Bell just stayed with him.
So now 1st and 20. This is Jonathan Stewart. Let's get a game break and check in with Kirk Menefee. Kirk?
Where have we seen this before? Matthew Stafford off the play fake, hooking up with Calvin Johnson, his leading 10th touchdown of the year, breaks a tackle along the way. The only thing that doesn't work, he kind of fumbles the slam dunk. It doesn't matter right now. Falcons leading 20-16 as they get ready to go into the fourth quarter. And Chris, don't you know by now, Tim's a defensive lineman, they say holding, tackle, every single play.
Every single. It's just what they want to call it or not. 2nd down at 17.
180.
Cam Newton in the pocket. Throws, and yes. Steve Smith, who else?
That throw is sickening good. Wow. Here's the route. It's going to take a long time for this one to develop. Steve Smith, man coverage, and Cam Newton knows it right now by how Josh Wilson is playing him. He's just going to run the over route all the way to the sideline. Look at the precision throw and ball location from Cam Newton. Yep. You don't get any better.
More than 200 yards passing already, Tim. Remember, he had 400 yards passing in his first few games, and no NFL player in his first 6 starts has passed for more yards coming in, and he keeps adding on as the third quarter winds down after an 18-yard completion. 1st and 10 Panthers, and that is the end of the third quarter. The Panthers leading the Redskins. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Glad you're with us for an offensive explosion in the third quarter. The Panthers leading by 10. Cam Newton and John Beck have changed things. 1st and 10. Carolina on the move. And here is Newton. The quick pass complete to Jeremy Shockey. You were impressed with Cam Newton, talking to him, looking at him physically. You see him in person. You're even more impressed with how he throws the football.
Well, I think, remember when he came out of Auburn and everybody talking, well, is he worthy of being the #1 overall pick? All he did was run. He doesn't have great accuracy. That guy's been as accurate from day one when he got into this league. It really has been pretty awesome. And I know in terms of reading defenses and talking to Ron Rivera, he said he's come 100 miles since they drafted him.
D'Angelo Williams pushing forward for a 1st down.
And I think as this game has gone, Chris, in the first 3 quarters, it's exactly as Cam Newton and the coaching staff told us. And Cam said, look, we got to protect the ball.
Yep, you asked him what's the key to the game? That's what he said.
The biggest key is we got to protect it. I asked Ron Rivera, what's the key to a victory? He said, we got to protect it, and we got to force turnovers on defense. They've got 2 turnovers on defense. They've got no turnovers from Cam Newton in the offense. And then you said, we asked Haslett the same thing on the other side. He said, we got to knock it out. They have not been able to do that.
On 1st and 10. Jonathan Stewart now to the 40. The Redskin defense has put pressure on, but Cam Newton does not seem to be bothered.
He's just so big. He's not worried about taking a hit. He'll stand in the pocket. We saw him get spinal tapped earlier by Brian Orakpo. And because he's so big, he doesn't fear getting broke down or broke off.
When I asked him what's come easy in the NFL, he said nothing, but I do want to find that rhythm. It looks like he's in the rhythm here in the second half. It was tough to find it in the first, at least getting in the end zone. Stewart. It'll be 3rd down. A chance for Jim Haslett's defense maybe to dial up the pressure. Cam Newton thought it was an advantage facing the Eagles and their kind of pressure, but the Redskins do it a little bit differently. They have 30 different kinds of coverages, and they mix and match. Even the coaches defensively said they sometimes get a little rough.
Yeah, I do agree, though, that I think the New Orleans game a couple of weeks ago was a good primer for Cam Newton and some of the things that he knew he was going to see coming into today, with all the disguises and all the stuff on the back end that the Redskins do coverage-wise. Greg Williams and the Saints do a lot of it as well.
Newton needs to get to the 33 for a first down, and he has it.
Look how much bigger he is than Josh Wilson, the corner. Watch the block. You love blocking for quarterbacks that run like Cam Newton, and it's going to be Rocky McIntosh that gets blocked by Jonathan Stewart. Bang, chops him down, and Newton picks up the first down.
And you mentioned offensive coordinator Jeff Jasinski, his aggressive style. He said, balance to us isn't 50-50. It's when we need to run it, we run it. When we have to throw it, we can throw it. And in the second half, they've had their way. Newton's pass complete. Shockey making the catch.
And people that maybe didn't watch him so much at Auburn, if you did, you understand that he rarely did anything under center. He was in the shotgun all the time. He called most of the plays from the line of scrimmage, so he was not in the huddle a lot. And he has picked this stuff up and made the transition and the assimilation like nothing in terms of calling plays in the huddle, taking snaps from under center, and operating the offense.
On 2nd and 6 at the 11-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Newton. Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 6, a three-pronged attack. There is a flag down. We'll check on that.
Yeah, Cam Newton right there on the long touchdown run. Very clever play by Rob Chudzinski calling that up. Here's Jonathan Stewart busting to the outside. D'Angelo Williams getting into the mix.
And there was holding on Carolina on Ron Rivera's team. It was on right guard Jeff Hangartner, so that will back them up, put them in a difficult spot for a field goal try, but they'll get to replay the down.
And that's 10 penalties for the Carolina Panthers in this game.
So 2nd and 16 from the 37-yard line. Newton. What a catch! Steve Smith is down at the goal line.
It is so hard not to shine this guy's star, Cam Newton. It was a terrific catch. It was a better throw. Cam Newton, it's double coverage. Here comes the safety over the top. That ball was placed absolutely perfect for Steve Smith.
6th 100-yard game this season, 36th of his career.
You can't throw that ball any better than Cam Newton just did.
Cam Newton is tune-in TV.
What an outstanding route by Steve Smith as well, giving him some room to fade to the sideline if he had to. What a throw.
Jonathan Stewart. And not in yet. Trying for his 2nd touchdown of the day. It'll be 2nd and goal. 7 catches for Steve Smith, 143 yards. Jonathan Stewart with 63 yards and a touchdown already.
Short of the goal line. 2nd down.
Little play-by-play from Jerome Boger. And just inches away from the goal line.
Bring in the extra offensive lineman, Mackenzie Bernardo.
This is Jonathan Stewart.
Oh, that ball's out.
Ball is out of the Redskins with a stand at the goal line. Looked like Carolina got that back. I don't know how.
I think it was Hartsock that ended up getting it back.
Redskin defense almost got that turnover you said they needed.
The runner was short of the goal line, fumbling, recovered by a teammate, third down.
And they're going to lose a yard and a half.
This little jump cut here by Jonathan Stewart. Whoop, right there. Looked like Reed Dowdy is the one that ripped it out. LaRon Landry had a shot at it. I don't know how Hartsock came up with it.
The challenge is coming here. Let's see if...
I don't think it's a wise challenge. Look, you got to clearly be able to see
Ron Rivera.
You got to clearly be able to see who recovered that football.
Carolina.
Today's game is sponsored by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach, by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers, and by Farmers Insurance. See how your local agent can save you money. We are insurance. We are farmers.
The ruling on the field is fumble, Carolina football, but no touchdown. Ron Rivera challenged, thinking that Stewart may have reached across the goal line before the fumble and scored a touchdown.
Well, and it looked like on some of the replays that he definitely, the ball crossed the plane. I'm just not sure if the ball had come out of his hands and become dislodged before it went across the goal line.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Third down. Carolina is charged his first time out of the second half, and it's also charged a challenge.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that is the right call, because you'll see the ball come flashing across the goal line here from Jonathan Stewart, but I think it had already become dislodged. And here you'll see the ball right there is the ball.
It looks loose.
And it looked like it was loose before he had crossed the plane, and then he re-corralled it again with his hands. That's a good call by Jerome Boger.
Not enough to overturn it, obviously, on third and goal.
Ready, right? Lester!
Cam Newton, end zone, touchdown, Brandon LaFell.
He's going to run an out route. He's going to beat the inside leverage. Kevin Barnes was sitting on the inside waiting for an in cut from Brandon LaFell. He just makes a little choice to run a choice route to the outside. He and Cam Newton were on that pre-snap. What an impressive second half here by the Carolina offense. Whoa.
Cam Newton runs for a touchdown and throws for a touchdown, capping a 65-yard drive with 12 plays and a 2-yard toss to Brandon LaFell. The Panthers up 30-13 here in the fourth.
Look at the leverage here on the touchdown by Kevin Barnes. I mean, this is just too easy on an out route for Brandon LaFell. He has got no chance, that being Barnes pre-snap. Look at the separation there. He never gets close to LaFell, and Cam Newton saw that before the ball was snapped.
Newton gets it to LaFell to beat Barnes, and it's a season-high 30 points for Carolina. 8 touchdown passes, 8 touchdown runs for Cam Newton. But he wants wins. And the Panthers are on their way to their second, unless John Beck and the Redskins can rally. 8:13 to go, and an offensive explosion in the second half has the Panthers in control.
Today's game is sponsored by Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
The Carolina Panthers, their only win this year was against Jacksonville when they did not turn the ball over. So far they haven't here. A lot of Redskin fans come out to the game because before the Panthers were an NFL franchise, the Redskins were televised in this area. John Beck at first down. Batted in the air and incomplete. Greg Hardy with the play.
Here's a bootleg to the other way. We've seen him have a lot of success going out to his right. Here he's going to fake the run right. He's going to peel to the left, and now he's got to flip his hips and his shoulders around to make that throw. And Greg Hardy, we've seen Hardy a couple of times. He is just not going to bite the cheese and take the bait when he sees that down block. He is playing that bootleg by the quarterback the whole way.
And John Beck, 3 scores down without Tim Hightower, without Santana Moss. On 2nd and 10, middle of the field, and completes that just short of the 35-yard line to rookie Niles Paul. And the Redskins have to hurry. A 14-yard pickup from the 34 on 1st and 10. And for Niles Paul, his first NFL reception.
Whoa.
Pressure late, pass complete. That's a first down. Working to midfield is Jabbar Gaffney.
That's impressive recognition by John Beck, who saw the blitz coming right in his face by the safety. I believe it was Sherrod Martin, who ends up coming here up inside. That was Godfrey and Thomas Williams, and he just throws it right behind him on that blitz beater.
Over 200 yards passing for John Beck. He's open. He's got Fred Davis inside the 35 of Carolina. A 17-yard pickup. Anthony Armstrong splits out to the left. He's the speedball. Gaffney on the right. Back from the pocket. Throws to Fred Davis again. And he steps out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee.
The Jets were down 21-10. They've come all the way back to take the lead for the first time today. 3 touchdown receptions for Plexico Burress. That one put him up 24-21 at home against the Chargers. Chris and Tim.
So a wild one there, points-wise. And here, scoring in the second half. Carolina pulled away, but the Redskins, 1st and 10 from just outside the 20. Pressure picked up, pass thrown behind it, almost intercepted.
Yeah, Beck never had his feet set. When you see a quarterback throw behind a receiver, and that was man coverage, and he knew it was man the whole way, he was going to go to his slot receiver in Austin. But when you see a ball go behind a receiver like that, here's Austin, he's going to run an in cut. Watch the feet of Beck. See how his feet, he just never really had him set and jump to the left. Typically, when you're behind a receiver, it's when you don't have that toe pointed at the receiver, you don't rotate those hips and stand firm under your shoulders.
Eric Cook ready to snap it to Beck. 2nd and 10. Pass complete. He's out of bounds. He made the catch, but Anthony Armstrong could not keep his feet in. It'll be 3rd down.
Now he just has too big of a stride. You're going to see his left foot, the first foot, both feet are up in the air, and the left foot goes out of bounds. He didn't even get one down. He had to really open up his stride to go get that football that was too far thrown outside by Beck.
Pass is caught, knocked out at the 10-yard line by Niles Paul for a big Redskin first down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Ron Rivera wants to take a second look at this one, and I'll bet you they're going to play it here on the Jumbotron.
And here comes the challenge flag from Ron Rivera.
Well, it looked like from up here there was 1 foot down by Niles Paul, and then I couldn't tell if his rear end came down inbounds or on the white stripe, Chris, out of bounds. And that's always an advantage for the home team.
Carolina is challenging ruling on the field of a completed catch at the sideline.
Okay, there's 1 foot.
The ruling on the field is catch made. Carolina challenges.
Well, I think the question is here is, did he secure the catch before he had slid out of bounds? Because his rear end and his elbow both hit the ground simultaneous. It's like his rear end was inbounds, the elbow was out of bounds, but it did not look like he had secured the catch. The ball looked like it was still moving as he was sliding out of bounds.
Is there enough to overturn to say he bobbled the football? See what.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Carolina's charged the timeout and is now out of challenges for the remainder of the game.
0 for 2 on the challenges for Ron Rivera. 1 timeout remaining for the Panthers and a fresh set of downs. 1st and goal just inside the 10.
Yeah, I'm not sure I really agree with this one. There's the left foot down. The elbow's out of bounds. The rear end's out of bounds or right on the stripe. But the ball looked like it was moving as Niles Paul was going to the ground.
I thought he secured it.
You see it move around? Yeah, you may be right. That was as close as it gets.
1st and goal, Redskins. John Beck is in trouble. Throws and completes inside the 10. Knocked down to Roy Halou after a gain of a couple. It'll be 2nd and goal.
And that's the kind of play I was talking about earlier that Rex Grossman has not been able to make last year and this year. And just extending the play with your legs and having some escapability. That's a very fine job there by John Beck.
18 out of 30, 247 yards for Beck, and he does have a touchdown run. Redskins need 3 scores. In the end zone, Fred Davis, touchdown, Washington Redskins. In between the shadows down there.
Yeah, in between 2 defenders. That was a really nice job by Fred Davis, who was extended away from the play, flexed out from the line of scrimmage, and ran right at James Anderson, and then bent it back outside and caught it between Anderson and Charles Godfrey, the safety.
And for John Beck, his first touchdown in 4 years. That's a long time between touchdown passes. In case you're wondering, the NFL record, Tommy Maddox, 9 years between touchdown passes in the NFL. And as you said earlier, Beck never had a doubt that he would be able to start.
They're going to review this. You're going to see Fred. He's going to run right at James Anderson, and then he's going to pivot back to the outside and catch the ball in between Godfrey and James Anderson. Yeah, and he's well across the plane of the goal line.
Did he get his arm under the ball?
Yeah, that
looks like it. They're just making sure. He's certainly on the other side of the goal line. An 80-yard drive, and if the touchdown stands, a 7-yard toss from Beck to Fred Davis.
And Fred's going to get better and better and better in this league. You know, he studies a lot of the old Shannon Sharp, the Hall of Famer with the Denver Broncos, and like Shannon, he came into college certainly as a wide receiver, was made a tight end at USC. He's a very good blocker, but he says he goes back and watches all that Shannon Sharp tape of not just route running, but how he releases off the line of scrimmage, how he does in his blocking. And as Mike Shanahan told us, Chris, he has really become a student of the game, a lot like Shannon Sharp was, with great football intelligence.
The Hall of Famer, Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
Ruled a touchdown on the field.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field is confirmed. It's a touchdown.
So with the extra point after the Fred Davis touchdown catch, the Redskins to get to within 10 points with just over 5 minutes to go. Davis came in leading the team in receiving yards. That's his 3rd touchdown catch of the season. And an impressive drive. Santana Moss and Tim Hightower out injured. But the evolution of the tight end, not just on this team, but around the league, is worth watching.
Yeah, and everybody seems to be putting 2 of them together out on the field there. And Hernandez, of course, with the Patriots, Jermichael Finley. They flex those guys out away from the line of scrimmage, and they're just a different animal now. Brandon Pettigrew. Here's Jimmy Graham, who has burst onto the scene, was a basketball player. And I think that's a big part of it. I think a lot of hoops players have come to be tight ends here in the National Football League.
And Davis has a little of that in his background. 5 catches for Davis, including this one. And on the other side of the field, Jeremy Shockey, 4 catches from the tight end spot on Carolina.
And they've really changed the game because so many teams now, Chris, are putting two tight ends on the field together versus the fullback. The fullback's become a dying breed. They've changed the safety position. No longer do we see the big inline, safety that's sticking to the tight end, the strong safety. Those guys got to be hybridized and interchangeable in the ability to cover these flex tight ends who can run like wide receivers.
And an impressive group. Vernon Davis of the 49ers, Dustin Keller of the Jets, Jason Witten, you'll see him later today on Fox, America's Game of the Week with the Rams and Cowboys. Tony Romo's favorite target.
And that guy's been doing it a long time right there.
And credit the Panthers for going out and getting him and Greg Olsen, a couple of tight ends to add things as the Redskins line up in what looks like an onside kick formation. They have all 3 timeouts. They're trailing by 10 with just over 5 minutes to go. Let's see how Graham Gano plays this. And the Panthers want a timeout.
Yeah, they want to get their hands team out there.
I imagine that would include Jeremy Shockey and/or Greg Olsen. It was 9-6 at the half. Coming out the third quarter, Cam Newton touchdowns on 3 consecutive drives. He ran one in. Jonathan Stewart scored. Then he threw for a touchdown. John Beck has rallied with a touchdown run and a touchdown pass in his first NFL start since 2007. And now the onside kick try. And they may change things as the Panthers do put Steve Smith back as the deep man. And Gano will have a decision to make. He's talking to him, and he's talking about different variations of an onside kick. The blooper, the bouncer, the one the kicker runs after. Well, they may just kick it deep.
Remember, though, Steve Smith was an outstanding return guy when he came into this league out of Utah. So if they want to do that, they could be playing with fire.
And the onside kick, and Nene hauls it in for the Panthers right at midfield. The angular Legadou Nene, 6'2".
That ball just had too much velocity on it. Typically those guys want that ball to go much higher than that to give their coverage guys an opportunity, Chris, to get down there and try to at least tie the ball to the return guy. Nene went up and got it. That ball got on him quick, and Austin had no chance.
But I like the strategy, because even if the Panthers get 3 out of this, you still have 2 touchdowns. You can win the game if you're Mike Shanahan, and if you stop them, then a touchdown and a field goal gets you into a tie. But time is the enemy here for Washington.
Well, I wouldn't be feeling too confident for this Washington defense the way Cam Newton has shredded through them here in the second half.
And the option, we've seen it a little. It's a perfect play to keep the clock running and the ball moving.
Look, we've seen a bit of everything from Cam Newton in this game. The option, the read option, the triple option, throwing from the pocket, making big plays with his legs, scrambling. We've seen it all.
D'Angelo Williams knocked down the 45. Here comes a penalty play.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Shockey on a hold here.
Already 11 penalties for 90 yards against Carolina.
Holding. Offense number 80. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
And it is on Shockey. Reed Doughty is the injured player already. Shimago Tagwe out of this game for the Redskins. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL now. Dijon Gomes comes in to replace Reed Doughty at safety, who was able to walk off the field on 1st and 20 after the penalty. Williams out across the 46-yard line. It'll be second down. Clock continues to run. Redskins have all 3 of their timeouts.
We talked about the Carolina Panthers and how explosive they are offensively, and you said it. They were the last in the league last year out of 32 teams that plays at 20+. Coming into the day today, they were tied for first with the New England Patriots with the explosive plays. That has not translated to wins. Looks like that certainly could happen for them today, but they're right at their average. They're 6-7 explosive plays per game, and I think they've already got here with 4 minutes to go. They already got 6 of 20 plus.
2nd and 13. Jonathan Stewart carries this time. Across midfield, it'll be 3rd down and about 10, and an important 3rd down, as a timeout will be used by Washington just over the 4-minute mark. Again, 2 remaining.
I am shocked. There's London Fletcher. He's got a hamstring over on the sideline.
Boy, the injuries piling up here for Washington.
And Chris, I'm shocked at how Carolina has handled them at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage today. The Redskins coming off a tough day last week against Philadelphia, almost 200 yards rushing, and Carolina's going to get close to approaching that number as well. They've got 173 on the ground. Give that offensive line a lot of credit.
And now on 3rd and 10, so Fletcher the hamstring. We saw Reed Doughty go out. Otagwe had a knee and was inactive today. And Reed Doughty is coming back in now for the Redskins at safety. And of course, injuries on offense with Santana Moss and Tim Hightower for Washington. A stop gives the Redskins hope. A 1st down, and the Panthers can milk the clock.
You got Steve at the bottom on Josh Wilson if he wants the big play.
Cam Newton's going to keep it and fall down short at the 46-yard line. And the Redskins will use their 2nd timeout, so they'll have 1 remaining. Just under 4 minutes to go, and it's 4th down for the Panthers. It's been a fun second half here, watching Cam Newton and John Beck work the defenses. America's game of the week on an NFL doubleheader weekend. Some of you will see the Rams in Dallas. A.J. Feely starting for St. Louis. And others will see the Packers and Vikings. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, who looks unstoppable, and rookie Christian Ponder running the show for Minnesota. Redskin fans know about Donovan McNabb and his shortcomings at this stage of his career.
If you're Christian Ponder and the Minnesota Vikings, feed the beast Adrian Peterson and let him roll.
So Brandon Banks, capable of big returns, can help the Redskins with field position depending upon where Jason Baker's punt goes. Fair catch inside the 12-yard line. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee.
How about this guy? Down 15-0, less than 3 minutes left. Tim Tebow throws a touchdown pass. Broncos get an onside kick. Tim Tebow throws another touchdown pass and then runs it in for a 2-point conversion. 15 points in the final 2.5 minutes. They tie it up in Miami and go to overtime. Chris and Tim, it ain't pretty, but the guy makes plays.
The definition of gamer. How long have we been hearing that about Tim Tebow? That is awesome.
And John Beck needs to get the Redskins in scoring position and doesn't have a lot of time. On 1st down, completes. And a tough hit. Terrence Austin hangs on near a 1st down.
That's a good throw by Beck into a small window. Carolina only rushed 3. They dropped 8. You do that, 8 guys in coverage, you got to squeeze it in. Beck did exactly that.
1 timeout for the Redskins. It is a 1st down. Pass is knocked over. It was Chris Campbell coming in on Anthony Armstrong. It'll be 2nd and 10. His first start, 4 years. He also has a touchdown run.
Much more aggressive in the second half. Looks like a different player. And Jimmy Johnson talked about it in the pregame show. He was doing, running the game plan. Did not make any mistakes in the first half. Jimmy talked about that at halftime, but here in the second half, he has certainly been driving the ball more down the field.
Pass is thrown, and Armstrong, the intended receiver, there's a flag down.
Yeah, locked there on a hold.
20-yard line.
Holding, offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty, replay, second half.
As I say, we haven't heard much from Charles Johnson in the second half. Locklear having his hands full with the pressure. That'll back the Redskins up inside the 14, so it's 2nd and 20. Washington. 3:21 to go. There's Charles Johnson.
Offside, defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
For those of you in the home markets of our late games, in a moment, you'll be leaving this game, and we'll be switching you to the start of your game, your team in the home market. 13th penalty on Carolina for more than 100 yards.
And what's so impressive, they've been able to overcome that and blast 30 points on the board.
Back. Intercepted. Chris Gamble. And with that pick, he equals Eric Davis for the all-time Carolina Panther career leader with 25 interceptions.
And Leonard Hankerson was way off base with his quarterback, John Beck. And Hankerson has not played a lot this year, the receiver out of Miami, and he was running a full-on go route out to the right. Beck looks like he's going to throw a back shoulder throw, and Hankerson just keeps running, and Gamble sitting right there waiting for it.
His first interception in nearly 2 years. 3rd turnover, 3rd takeaway for the Panthers today.
And that's where I think they've been underrated. People have really capped on their defense verbally. They've been much maligned, but they've been solid back in the secondary all season.
D'Angelo Williams. You talked about how good the secondary is, but it's their first interception on the corner.
This will be 32nd timeout.
We have our last timeout for Washington. And the defensive Ron Rivera coming up big. And for John Beck, a touchdown in the air, an interception, a touchdown on the ground. But
yeah, that one was not on Beck. That was on Leonard Hankerson for sure. And it's exactly what Ron Rivera wanted in this game. They had 5 turnovers, Chris. 5 turnovers through 6 games coming into today. They've taken it back 3 times.
Yeah, Beck also lost a fumble. Remember, Rex Grossman had 9 interceptions and 2 lost fumbles. That's one of the reasons he's no longer the starter in Washington. Ron Rivera on his way to his 2nd win as a head coach, the 4th head coach in the 16-year history of the Carolina Panthers. The Redskin defense that had played so well has been scored upon by Cam Newton and this Carolina offense as Jonathan Stewart carries. It'll be 3rd down. Redskins are out of timeouts. You know, Ron Rivera, we mentioned you were a teammate of his in Chicago. Why does he call you Oscar, by the way?
Well, you know my nickname. First of all, if you don't have a nickname in pro football, you're getting cut. Right. So my nickname was T-Ron in Chicago. Chico.
Okay, Chico the man.
Yeah, that's Chico right there. What a great guy and what a great teammate he was together in Chicago. But we were both on special teams together. We were both core players on the special teams. And we used to have an award called the Mad Dog Award for the Bears. And if you got the special teams player of the week and you got the Mad Dog Award, you ended up getting a free year's supply of Oscar Mayer meats. You got a free television and you got a free year's supply of Oscar Mayer meats. Now I had bologna coming out of my ears, Polska kielbasa everywhere.
You're full of bologna.
So ever since then, it was always T-Rock, all my teammates. But that day in particular, when I got the Mad Dog Award, it was Oscar Rock to Chico. So I've always been Oscar to him.
And when we sat for our production meeting, that's for, hey, Oscar, how you doing?
Oh, yeah.
And you talked about Chico, who is the man today, with his Panthers leading by 10 at the 2-minute mark. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Panthers are on their way to their 2nd win of the season. And Alinda Mare ready to attempt a 40-yard field goal. He's 3 for 3 today. He's made a couple of 45-yarders and a 20-yarder.
I think he's actually 6 for 6 if you count the 3 the 2 that there was penalty
before the penalty. They've somehow survived 13 penalties. Carolina with this kick. That's out, and good. We'll have a 13-point lead. Coming up after we finish here, America's game of the week. The only undefeated team in the NFL, the Packers, the defending Super Bowl champs, take on Adrian Peterson and the Vikings in Minnesota. And some will see the Rams against the Cowboys. Tony Romo hoping to bounce back. And A.J. Feely getting the start for the Rams at quarterback. They have added Brandon Lloyd to try and get their first win of the season. Well, the Redskins are ready to fall to 3-3 after such a fast start. They'll be going to Toronto to play Buffalo next week. You'll see that on Fox. And then they play the 49ers at home before going to Miami and then Dallas, the team they already lost to in the NFC East.
Yeah, and their schedule is not going to be easy. And Buffalo's had a couple of weeks now to prepare for that game with the off week.
But I think, John Beck, would you agree that that decision, if there was any hesitation, they don't get the win, but they seem, at least Mike Shanahan, more comfortable with him steering the offense?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Look, Rex had 11 turnovers in 5 games and made some good plays, but was careless with the ball. They had 9 touchdowns only coming into the game. 1 touchdown of 20+, which was the right move.
First kick. Into the end zone for a touchback. John Beck will bring the team out to the 20-yard line. We just talked about their schedule, the fact that the Giants and the Eagles both have a bye week. Dallas hoping to get to 3-3 later today. And in the thick of things.
Well, Miami's certainly not 3-3. That's a typo right there.
Yeah, they're right now locked up in overtime with the Broncos. The Dolphins have yet to win a game, along with Indianapolis and the Rams. There's a penalty flag as Beck completes to Davis. Snaps short of the first down, and then he falls forward at the 30.
Well, he must have a good hard count because he has drawn those guys off sides several times today, that being the Carolina front.
A couple of rookies up there. Sione Fua, Terrell McClain.
Offside. Defense, number 95. That penalty is declined. Second down.
So it could have been the 14th penalty, but declined. 2nd and inches for the Redskins. Next throw is in and out of the hands of Jabbar Gaffney. So it'll be 3rd and inches. Want to send out a happy recovery to Frank Sapienza, the Redskins game day operations manager for the last decade, recovering from kidney surgery. Glad that he's feeling better. I know he's disappointed as a Redskin fan, but that guy not disappointed because he said all the numbers are good, but I want wins. I'm not this losing stuff. I didn't feel that much at college or junior college.
Yeah, and finally all those huge numbers are paying off with and translating to victories. D'Angelo Hall clearly extremely disappointed. And you know what, talking to the defensive players here in Carolina, they feel like they're going to score a lot of points. They love standing up and watching Cam Newton function on the football field.
And there's Charles Johnson with a sack. Came in with 5, tacks another one on. So he has 14 in his last 14 games if you go all the way back. 3rd sack of the day for the Panther defense, and 4th down for John Beck. That's Roy Halou, and he looks short of the first down marker. It's a stop, so the Panthers will take over on downs.
I tell you, and I know the disappointment is everywhere for the Washington Redskins, but I don't think anybody could be more disappointed than Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator. And what Cam Newton, the rookie quarterback, was able to do to these guys today with the explosive plays, well over 400 yards of total offense again. Over 40% on 3rd down in terms of the efficiency, no turnovers, dominating time of possession.
Cam Newton combining for more than 300 yards, 256 through the air, 57 on the ground, a touchdown run, a touchdown toss. And for the Panthers, who get their second win of the year and thus in the career of Cam Newton, they will take on the Vikings next, then a bye, Tennessee at home, and then on to Detroit. Maybe they get back into things in the AFC South. Tampa Bay lost. The Saints play tonight. Atlanta is leading Detroit late in the fourth quarter.
Well, what did Ryan Khalil tell us on Friday? He says, I don't care what our record is. We know we've got some firepower. Our goal is to win out.
And the Redskins still at 3-3 in the thick of things in the NFC East. But today belongs to Cam Newton, Ron Rivera, Steve Smith, and the Panthers. A tight first half, broken open by Cam Newton in the second half, and the final from Carolina. The Panthers 33, the Redskins 20. For Tim Ryan and Jamie Maggio, I'm Chris Myers. For our entire production crew, we thank you for watching the NFL on Fox. Stay tuned for Game 2, America's Game of the Week, right here on Fox.